right, shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, all praises, all honor, and all glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ruach Kodash. Double honor to the pastors, the bishops, the elders at GMS. Shalom to you, brothers, that's preaching and teaching this truth and sincerity across the four winds of earth. And I just want to go in a quick video. I talked about it at camp just a hour or so ago when I was out there. Something that I mentioned about us being prisoners of hope, right? Because we don't have an army, we don't have all this wealth and riches and bunkers and all this stuff to do, right? And what I was mentioning was the Lord literally has it right to where we have no other choice but to lean on Him, right? Because I was talking about time of Jacob's trouble and martial law and all that stuff, right? And that time period is coming, right? We see they're starting to move towards the digital age and so on and so forth, and it's only a matter of time till that chip is implemented, right? And the Lord has it to where we're in this captivity, scattered around the four winds of the earth. We're scattered all over the place, but we're in captivity. We're subjects, right? Under these heathens. And the only thing that we have, right, is to lean on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Literally prisoners of hope, right? But we know that the Lord is going to deliver us. Miracles are going to happen. The Lord is eventually going to come back and so on and so forth. We know those things, right? But in those times, that's when it's going to be tested. And we have nothing else but to lean on but Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? And the Lord has it like that for a reason. Because the one that's really down, that really believes, that really understands, they're going to stand on that, right? They're going to stand stiffly for the name. But the ones that's going to try to figure out their own way, their own righteousness, their own way to get by, right? They're going to give in. They're going to bow the knee, right? So the Lord has it to where your faith has no other way but to be tested. Right, there's no way that you're going to prove yourself without being tested, because the Lord is using these Edomites, right, to fulfill His will. Even though we know they're going to come down with great wrath, but that's a part of the Lord's plan, right? The Lord is going to put the spirit on these people to put the squeeze on us, and so that we can use and lean on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai to save us from them, right, and be delivered or whatever the case may be from said situations. Right, so we have no other choice, because stocking up on food is not going to get you nowhere. Stocking up on water is not going to get you anywhere. Guns not going to get you anywhere. Right, the Lord has it to where we solely have to lean on Him, because you can get a whole bunch of food, but the troops bust in your house, take everybody out, and then they're not going to allow you. Let me just grab one of them chilies. Let me just grab one of them mangoes. They ain't about to let you just grab food and take it with you in the FEMA camp. You're going to be snacking on the way there. No. They're going to grab you as is. You see? And the people that want to doomsday prep and get all this food, how are you going to walk around with all that stuff? And there's nothing wrong, like when the time gets a little bit closer and closer to the end, there's nothing wrong with you grabbing an extra case of water, or grabbing some non-perishable goods, grabbing some corn or whatever the case, grabbing some fruit out of a can. There's nothing wrong with grabbing a little bit extra. But these people are hoarding pounds and pounds of this and pounds of that. We're not going to lean on that, because there's no guarantee that you're even going to be with those things in the time to come. You don't know how the Lord's going to plan it. You stock up all this food, and next thing you know, you got to leave the house. Or you stock up all the food, and the deal goes down when you're somewhere else, and you can't even go to the house. You see? So we have to solely trust on the Lord, man. Right? And I want to get this scripture. I'm going to get a couple, and then we close out. Not to be super long, but I wanted to, further expound on that. Because I didn't speak on it that much when I was there. You know how when you at camp, you just flow through the spirit, man. But I know when I was leaving, getting in the car and getting ready to go back home, I was thinking about it. I was like, I want to go into it. Right? So this is 1 Corinthians 10, straight to the point of verse 13. It says, there have no temptation taken you. It says, but such as is common to man. It says, but the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, right? So anything that's on your plate, you're able to bear it no matter how bad it may seem, right? How dire straight the situation is. The Lord's not going to give you anything that you can't handle, man. He's not going to put too much on your plate where you can't finish it, right? It says, but will, right? With the temptation also make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it, right? See? So with whatever the things that we have coming down the pipeline, the little things that we go through now, right, in our daily life, so on and so forth, the Lord always going to make us a way to escape it. But that's solely leaning on him, right? That's why another scripture says, don't make haste in the time of trouble. And I'm probably going to get that. As Ecclesiasticus and 2, right? So we're going to be put in situations where we have no other choice but to lean on the Lord. And if you go astray or go aside, not trying to lean on the Lord, it's going to always fail, right? We're literally living in this place to where we have gone astray from the Lord, and we're literally living and seeing what not following him does. It gets us in captivity under Esau and wickedness and subject to these bodies and sin and all that. This is what not following the Lord gets us. So obviously we don't want to keep having to go through this. So now the Lord is making the final last go around where he's going to get his elect from out of these situations. The rest that didn't want to follow, right? That's not the elect, that want to go their own path, want to establish their own righteousness. They're going to be dealt with, right? Accordingly. You see, so we have to understand these things. And in the time to come, I'm speaking to myself first. Because, you sit there, you think about it, but it's like, yeah, we know hell is coming, but in order for the Lord to make his move, to give us spiritual power for these things to happen, for to get delivered from these situations, we have to be in those situations, right? We're going to be delivered from the troubles. See, let's get this. Job 5. And we're going to start at 19. Right? It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. Right? In order for no evil to touch you, you have to be in the midst of the evil. For you to be delivered in the troubles, you have to be in the troubles. It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death. Right? And that's coming. My servant shall eat, and you should be hungry. Right? Paraphrasing it. It says, in war from the power of the sword. And that's what's going to happen. These Edomites are getting ready to rage war on you, Jacob. They're going to come down with great wrath. Right? Persecuting the followers of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. It says, neither shall thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. And that's going to be a certain spirit that the Lord is going to put on us. You see, it says, at destruction and famine, thou shalt laugh. You know what kind of spirit that you have to have, seeing destruction, famine, evil, pestilence, and you're in the midst, joyful, happy, laughing, full, not hungry. You see, the Lord is going to protect his men. And we know that's not going to be everybody's scenario, right? Because there's going to have to be there's going to be martyrs, right? There's going to be people that's going to die for the testimony. We understand that. But at the end of the day, you're still going to get the victory. It says, at destruction and famine thou shalt laugh. It says, neither shall thou be afraid of the beast of the earth. It says, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shall not sin. You see, even the beast of the field, you might be in a situation where tigers or bears are running through the forest, and they're going to be at peace with you. They're going to see you, you're going to see them, and leave you alone. Or they might be following you and protect you from anything else. Who knows what the Lord is going to do, man. But something I said at camp, I was like, all these things that everybody, we're going to be put in all different types of situations. But if we have that number, best believe we're more than likely going to share what was going on in the chariots. We're going to be in the chariots like, man, I was running from this and this happened and that happened. Oh, what? That happened, brother? And then I ran into this and then, you see, I'm going to be able to share those. I'm like, what? The Lord is getting ready to magnify himself. And he magnifies himself with the weak things of the world, man. You see, that's 1 Corinthians, the 1st chapter, which I read that at camp. when I was talking about this a little bit. Right? So the Lord is going to use weak things. We're using the weak things, the base things, right, of the world, right, to confound these people, to confound the wise, these so-called scholars, these so-called wise men, these so-called people with decrees and all this stuff. I mean, degrees, right? So that's what's happening, man. But we have to understand that we're going to have to go through trouble to be delivered from the trouble. And a lot of Jake just don't want to hear that. Think that we're just fear-mongering and doing all this and doing, no, man. This is just the reality. This is the truth. And Jake don't like to hear that sometimes. Jake want to hear America's going to be better or the Lord's going to come out and just rapture. Your ass is going to be at work and just disappear. You want everything just to go normally and then the Lord just return. No. It says the day of the Lord is darkness, man. So there's going to be a lot of evil and plagues, famine, disease, pestilence, all these things, chaos, brewing on the earth before the Lord returns. You see? But the Lord has us in that situation where we have no other choice but to have hope. We have no other choice but to have faith. We have no other choice but to believe that he's going to do what he said he's going to do. We're literally in that situation. We have no other way out. Our back is against the wall. We can't go left. We can't go right. We can't go diagonal. There's nowhere for us to turn but unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That is the only place we can go. Literally. You got people trying to figure it out a different way, trusting Esau and switching up on the doctrine, and Gentiles can make it, and changing up all types of things, man. Going against something that you once taught for the majority of your ministry and all these things, because they see what's getting ready to come, and they think Esau is going to give them brownie points and be like, okay, well, you said Esau, we was teaching that you guys can make it. Hold on, and they're gonna be okay. Come to the bunkers with us. Like, no, you ain't gonna get a free pass. We're talking about Esau here. Just because you started teaching against that, they gave you money to teach this, that thing, you're gonna get brownie points in that day. You're getting brownie points now because they're using you. But once there's no more use for you, what do you think they're gonna do to you? You think they're gonna constantly, when all hell is breaking loose, they're gonna send you into the street corner? Hey, brother, listen, Edomite, you can make it. Come with me. No, that's not gonna happen, man. They're gonna use you until you have no purpose anymore. They do that with everything and everybody. They show you that constantly in movies. You're seeing it now with scientists starting to pop up dead all of a sudden. They used you until you're no longer of use. Get rid of them. And now you know too much information, so you can't just, we ain't about to just let you go. We about to kill your ass. And I'm going to get this real fast. Zechariah 9. Deliverance of Judah and Ephraim. Zechariah 9 and 11. It says, as for thee also, by the blood of thy covenant, I have sent forth thy prisoners out of the pit wherein is no water. It says, turn you to the stronghold, ye prisoners of hope. Even today, right? It says, do I declare that I will render double unto thee. You see? And the Lord of hosts is gonna defend us, man. He's gonna fight for us. Right, but we have to believe. You see, because Esau is getting ready to come down, and we have no other way to run, no other place to run. Let's get this Ecclesiasticus. I almost forgot about it. Maybe gonna shut it down. It's not meant to be super long. Sirach 2. KJV. Never read that in the GNT, but. Just gonna read it in the KJV. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 1 at the top. It says, chapter 2 and verse 1. I don't know if I said verse 2 or chapter 2. Right? Ecclesiasticus, chapter 2 and verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in the time of trouble. Why not make not haste? Because when you're in time of trouble, if you make haste, you might do something just based off of emotion. You see yourself in a dire situation, you just act. Right? And that's going to put you in more trouble. Right? It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, that's important, and he will help thee. order thy way aright, and trust in him. He that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall. So we have to wait on the Lord. Why? Unless ye fall. You see, it says, ye that fear the Lord, believe in him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generations of old, and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? You see, and that's something we always have to keep in mind, man. Because that time is coming, man. We're gonna have we have no other choice now, but that time is really gonna come where you have no other choice but to let the Lord work, man. Right, even if we get delivered, even if we in the FEMA camps, got to go to the guillotine, that's still going to be a testimony. We're still going to talk about that because the dead's going to be raised first. So when the Lord comes back, you're going to be already on the chariots, waiting for your brothers and sisters to join you. We have to wholeheartedly believe that, man. You coming with the Lord and you just waiting to see your brothers and sisters again, ready to be back reunited with those spirits that was once together. This is the real family reunion, man. So that's it. Wasn't meant to be super long. Quick hit, straight into the point. Hopefully it was edifying, man. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Shalom.